Now that we've got the hot tub in some condition that we're able to use it, let's talk a little bit more about hot tub rules. Everybody loves rules, right? Here we go. So, there's some things that you can do that will make your life easier as the owner of this hot tub. For example, let's talk about the first one. If you shower or rinse off in the shower before you go in the hot tub, you will go a long way to reducing the amount of contaminants that are introduced to the water. This matters a lot. Swimming pools are gigantic. Hot tubs are not all that big. Four people in a hot tub is kind of gross, depending on who those people are. And the reality is that a quick shower, quick rinse off will go a long way to reducing the organic contaminants that you're bringing into the water every time you get in there. Don't wash, like, launder your bathing suit and then wear that into the hot tub. Like a lot of people say, don't wear anything into the hot tub. No problems there. Not going to be introducing too much detergent into the hot tub that way. But supposing you wear trunks into the hot tub, don't wash them with soap every time. Or if you do, give them a good thorough rinse with clean water, because you don't want to be bringing any detergents into your hot tub. All of the stuff that you bring in, detergents and makeup and hairspray and moisturizers and all this stuff adds up. And that's not to mention like skin and hair and sweat. In a small body of water, the filtration system has to work overtime to deal with these things. And it's going to introduce a lot of impurities to the water, which are going to do things like make a lot of gross foam or just look gross. You can see a lot of little floaty bits in the water, and that's not super fun. So to avoid this, you're going to drain and refill regularly. Like I said before, about once every 3 months at absolute maximum, you're going to drain and refill the hot tub. The filtration system has to work really hard, so you need to replace or clean the filters often. This is a big tip. A lot of people don't realize how often they should be replacing their filters. First, there's two kinds of hot tub filters. There's the like throwaway ones, use it once and then throw it in the garbage. And then there's the ones that are kind of made out of a paper material, which you can use, wash, reuse over and over again. I do recommend the latter because you want to be changing and cleaning your filter often. It's probably the single most proactive thing that you can do to make your hot tub experience better. It's going to make you use less chemicals. It's going to make your water look better. It's all around. It's a win, and it's not that much work. So here's how it works with a hot tub filter. It's a paper filter. A lot of people, the majority of hot tub owners, will take their filter out and they rinse it off with a garden hose, and it's like, that's it. Should be clean and good now, right? It's already in a hot tub, like with hot water, like blasting it all the time. Your cold garden hose is doing nothing to clean this. It's a paper filter and it's saturated with oil. This is the number one thing that's causing foam and, just an unpleasant water experience in hot tubs. The paper of your filter gets saturated with the oils of the bathers in the hot tub. And as a result, you end up with this excessive amount. You need to take out the filter and you need to soak it in a degreaser. So there's commercially available degreasers. You could totally buy a hot tub filter cleaner, use that product. My personal choice is to use automatic dishwasher detergent. It's granular, it's made to not make suds and foam, and it's a degreaser product. I use 1 cup of automatic dishwasher detergent to 5 gallons of hot water, and I soak my hot tub filters in that. And then ideally, rinse it off in another bucket of hot water, and then probably a garden hose after that, because the pleats in a hot tub filter really are going to hold a lot of physical debris, a lot of gunk and hair and skin and gross things like that you probably don't want to know there's a lot of in hot tubs, which there are. The truth is that stuff represents such a tiny amount of the debris load. Like, yes, definitely clean it out because it's gross and you don't want it in there, and you need the garden hose to clean in between the pleats, or get a filter comb to clean in between the pleats. But in any case, that is such the minor concern. The major concern being we got to get this oil and grease out of this paper filter by using a degreaser product and then rinsing it clean before you return the filter to the hot tub. You should be cleaning your filter once a week. If you use your hot tub a lot, or you got a big family and you're all in there every night, or you use your hot tub 2 or 3 times a day, more than once a week. Don't wait a whole week. Every couple of days, change your filter. Some hot tub owners go weeks or months without changing their filter. I mean, there's no warning light that's going to go off that says like, oh, hey, change this immediately because there's a problem, it'll just keep running and doing its thing and you won't know any different, except the hot tub's gross and you're using a lot of chemicals and you don't need to be doing this. Be proactive, take out your filter all the time, clean them all the time, have a couple sets so you can have like a cycle going all the time. That's a huge tip for hot tub owners. Okay, here's another tip. So we talked about how to establish our initial water chemistry earlier. So right away, immediately, those values start changing. You have to test your water continually. Like if you tested it and it was perfect, and then 2 or 4 people jumped in the hot tub and used it for a bit and get out, those water chemistry values have totally changed. The pH has certainly gone up. The sanitizer has certainly gone down. You need to test a lot. And what you'll find is that you play this game where you don't want the sanitizer to be sky high, but you really don't want it ever to drop to zero. As soon as your sanitizer drops to zero, that's when problems start to happen. If you don't let your bromine or your sanitizer drop to zero, then you won't end up with green water in your hot tub, and your hot tub will always be safe to use because your sanitizer is your layer of protection against danger in something like a hot tub. Like, not to identify the obvious here, but if you were to design something to be the perfect environment to create bacteria, I think it would be dark. I think it would be warm. I think it would be wet or moist. Boy, this sounds a lot like what your hot tub is. And, so that's kind of the consideration here is this is a perfect breeding ground for bacteria, and we need to do what we can to minimize. So when you get in the hot tub, you are for sure inducing or introducing bacteria to the hot tub. It comes on you into the water. So every time you get in the water, recognize that you're loading the water with bacteria or organic contaminants. As soon as you get out, you should be adding an oxidizer to the hot tub. And about 1 tablespoon of an oxidizer like potassium monopersulfate would be ideal. That's something that I do. Every time I get out of my hot tub, I put in about a tablespoon of potassium monopersulfate. Now, again, the chemistry aspect is pretty deep, and I'm really glossing over a lot of this just to move as quickly as possible. But oxidizer or non-chlorine shock is something that when you add it to a bromine sanitized hot tub, that oxidizer will directly oxidize organic contaminants, which is good, but it will also reactivate spent bromine salts and make that bromine active bromine again. And so by adding that oxidizer to the water, I'm reactivating some spent bromine as well as trying to oxidize that new organic contaminant that I just introduced to the water by getting in the hot tub. And I find this goes a long way to helping to stop the problem where you come out the next day after using your hot tub, open your lid and discover it's green. It happens so quickly. If you used the hot tub and you didn't notice that you depleted the sanitizer entirely, the floater with the pucks in it floating around, it doesn't dissolve quickly enough to overcome, a situation where you have zero sanitizer in the water, or usually it won't do that. It just doesn't dissolve fast enough. And you need to either add bromine or sanitizer to the water directly, or you're going to add this oxidizer. And that's kind of the takeaway here that I want you to have. Every time you get out of the water, I want you to add something like potassium monopersulfate, an oxidizer product that you buy from a pool or spa store, and add about 1 tablespoon per person into the hot tub. If you had 4 people in the hot tub, when you get out, add about 4 tablespoons of this potassium monopersulfate oxidizer. It will reactivate some spent bromine salts in the water, and it will help you to hopefully avoid a situation where you have zero sanitizer. So moving along, because again, there's a lot to know here, and we're just trying to outline the very basics of hot tub maintenance and hot tub care. Here's a big one. This is a super big one, and most hot tub owners miss this, and it's so, so important. Most of the bacteria in your hot tub isn't just floating around in the water, and it's not like stuck to the shell. That's not really how it works. Most of the bacteria in your hot tub, especially over time as your hot tub gets older, it exists inside of the plumbing lines in the form of a gray slime, and this is called biofilm. And this biofilm does a couple of things which aren't good. One, it creates a layer of mechanical protection because you have chlorine or bromine sanitizer in the water, and that'll kill all the bad stuff. But if there's like a thick layer of gray slime, only the top layer is being touched by the chlorine or bromine. All the stuff under that is being protected mechanically from this slime. In addition, the slime is kind of like a food source for bacteria, so it just creates this really strong bacterial bloom in the hot tub, or it can if you don't strip it out. Now, here's the thing, it doesn't come out on its own. So if you just drain and refill, it didn't come out. It's all still in there because, again, it's like sticky. So you have to use a product that's made to kind of strip it out of there. And they make a product just for that. But most hot tub owners, for whatever reason, don't know about it. And I think it's just simply comes down to this whole environment where, you're sold this product. And once the sale is done, I mean, nobody really cares about the aftercare anymore. And as a result, you don't learn of these important things. You must pipe flush your hot tub to remove the bacteria from the plumbing lines. This is something that you should be doing every time you drain your old water. Do not drain your old water yet. You have to add this pipe flush or pipe purge or spa purge, or there's a lot of different names it can go by, but it's the product that you add to the old water, circulate in the old water, and then drain everything away. And it's going to work to strip away that gunk that's developed in the plumbing lines. And it's just the most important thing. And I really wish every hot tub owner would do it, because once you've seen what happens, like when you pipe flush an old hot tub that's got a lot of this biofilm and they don't know about it, you literally can end up with a foot or 18 inches of gray black foam just like falling off the top. It's absolutely disgusting. You'd never believe that there's that much gross stuff in there, and there totally can be. And you avoid it by pipe flushing every time you drain your old hot tub water. So we're going to add something to the water. Let's say we're going to add some oxidizer, or we're going to make a pH adjustment with some acid. No matter what you do to the hot tub, you should leave the cover open. You shouldn't make a chemical adjustment and then close the cover right away, because there's going to be off-gassing that needs to happen, and you're trapping all of that inside, and it can lead to, it's mostly cosmetic, but it can also lead to physical damage to the area of your hot tub above the water line into the underside of your cover. Let's talk about the cover for a second, because all hot tubs have covers. They're very important, and they all have the same problem. After a while, hot tub covers get heavy. Why does that happen? Simply because they're made of foam, and that foam has absorbed water, whether through rain or snow or from, moisture from the underside. One way or another, water makes its way into the foam, and once the foam has become saturated, first of all, it's heavy and super inconvenient, very hard to take the lid on and off, but more importantly is it compromises the insulation value. You need a high insulation value in the cover of your hot tub because, of course, the water is so hot and that heat wants to escape, and we need to trap it for thermal efficiency. And if knowing all this in advance, knowing that your hot tub cover is going to get heavy when it fails, and that is the signal to you it's time to replace this hot tub cover. Let's say somebody stabs the hot tub cover with a pen or a screwdriver or something like that. That for sure is going to induce this problem where the cover gets wet or heavy, because it's going to absorb water through that hole that you just stabbed into it. If you use a regular tape like duct tape or something like that, it's not going to help. The water's still going to permeate through that. The kind of tape that you use for duct work, it's kind of basically like metal tape. That's the ideal stuff to use anytime that you're trying to protect a hot tub against punctures or a cut or slash or anything like that. And that's the best that you can do to kind of prolong the life of your hot tub. And again, recognize that once the cover gets heavy, that indicates to you that this cover's reached the end of its service life and it's going to be time to replace it. So I've kind of reached the end of the material that I wanted to cover here. This is totally not an inclusive list of hot tub care. I think you probably get that feeling how I had to move through these subjects so quickly just to touch on everything a little bit. But hopefully this has given you some kind of idea as to where to start, how often to drain, how do I manage the chemicals, how do I test the water, what am I watching out for in terms of concerns. I hope that I've touched on enough important stuff here. And I also hope that I can get some comments down in the comment section below, because surely you have some questions. If you have a hot tub and I've just ran through this, and I probably created a bunch more questions for you, more than answers. And if so, ask those questions in the comments, because I can create a part two to this where I compile all of those questions as well. And maybe we can make a pretty good resource here for hot tub owners who want to expedite the process of learning about the maintenance schedule and how to use this new hot tub that they got. If you found this information helpful, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And you can check out my website, swimmingpoolsteve.com.